Simple question for you. What is the threefold cord? Remember in Ecclesiastes, he talks about the idea of having a threefold cord. And many times I've heard it as in a couple, it's good to have Jesus or God in the middle. Now, is that the point that the Ecclesiastes writer is trying to make? I don't think so. Not if you read the context, which I invite you to do. It's found in chapter 4. Well, you'll see he starts by talking about how two are better than one. Because when two are together, they can have better business. And if one of them falls on the way to the business, which would be long traveling, the other one can help him scoop him back up. Now, we see that this is a business relationship. But then he moves on and talks about how two together can stay warm. Well, that's no longer a business relationship. That's a weird one. That's a couple right now. So we've moved on from business relationships to couple type relationships. And then he talks about being able to stand against those who are attacking us. Well, that's soldier talk now. All right, talking about war and having friends when you're in an army. So we've seen him point to different types of duels, if you will, relationships where there's two together, which is better than just one. And then he talks about each threefold cord. This is all about relationships and how this threefold cord is better, probably, and I do believe, pointing to community. He's shown that yes, duos, friendships are good, but community even better. Now, when you read the book of Ecclesiastes and study it as I have, you see that the author really tries to provoke thought in us about how useless or vain this world is, especially certain things like loneliness. You could work hard all day and then get home to be by yourself. Or you could work hard to put money away and have nobody to give it to because there's no family, no friends. And a way to make it more palpable, to give it purpose or gain is the word he uses, well, it's to have relationships. All of this, of course, to point back to God. These relationships are to point back to God. That's the whole book, the whole point of the book. How these vain things are to point to God. How the gains are supposed to point back to God. But ultimately, I believe the threefold cord is all about the need for community, which is important because we live in such a culture that individuality is so much more important than community, even within the church. So about my relationship with Jesus, and yes, I'll go to church, but to build intimate and profound relationship, oh no, that's too hard. I'll get hurt. But here's the Bible saying, no, put in the effort, the love sacrifice, and you will see how stronger it will be to have that community tie. So I invite you to do that, brothers and sisters. On that note, be blessed.